Good evening and welcome to our Tuesday, May 3, 2016 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, today is World Press Freedom Day, constitutional reform expected soon, and tight security for Jubilee celebrations. Stay tuned for the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Azim Khan and this is the Government News Brief. The huge task of amending Guyana's constitution is expected to start soon, following the completion of a formal report to guide its reform. More in this report.
The report, which determines parameters of constitutional reform, entails proposals on the manner, nature, and conduct of the constitutional reform process, which was compiled by a 6-member steering committee on constitutional reform. The report was recently presented to Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, under whose portfolio constitutional reform rests.
As you know, the coalition parties had placed high on the agenda the issue of constitutional reform. And we hope that the guidance contained in this report, which is the final report, would be able to give us both enough time and space in which we could achieve the areas identified as areas for reform and areas for changing in our constitution.
The report will first be taken to Cabinet. Thereafter, a Constitutional Reform Commission will come on stream, and it is this committee which will effect the changes to the Constitution.
It was a privilege, personally, to have been the convener of this group. We met regularly on Fridays, and we have finally submitted to the Prime Minister what I consider to be the framework of the pathway for the Constitution Reform Commission, which I hope will be established shortly.
Today, I'm going to try to read this and see what I will be able to do to take it forward first to the Cabinet, and then we will announce the further stages in this process.
The work of the Special Committee on Constitutional Reform began on September 1, 2015, and was to be concluded by December 31, 2015. This will be the third reform process that the Guyana Constitution will be undergoing since it came into being in 1980. The last round of constitutional reform occurred in 2001 and culminated in the process that began in 1999. This new constitution will replace the constitution adopted in 2002 and will speak to a more plural, inclusive, multi-party, multicultural, multi-ethnic system of governance. For this Government News Brief, Namila Baines-Rowe.
Today, May 3, 2016, Guyana joins with the rest of the world in celebrating World Press Freedom Day. The international theme for this day is access to information and fundamental freedoms. This is your right. Here in Guyana, President David Granger has made clear his government's policy on access to information. The president recently told media operatives at a workshop organized by the Guyana Press Association that the state protects this freedom by enforcing constitutional and legal guarantees and by providing those citizens with access to information. The head of state remarked that the state is obliged to preserve, protect, and to promote citizens' right to freedom of expression. President Granger noted that his administration recognizes the role of and respects the separation of powers among the three branches of government: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. The president stated that his administration will not undermine the professionalism of state media workers by subjecting them to political direction or interference in their work. The president said that the relationship between the state and the private media must be seen as a partnership in providing a public good. Was the May Day rally the first step towards a united labor movement in Guyana? More in this report.
Reflecting on the historic May Day rally, Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection with responsibility for labor, Keith Scott, hopes that it was the first step towards a united labor movement.
When I was sitting there, I imagined the soaring of the spirit of Andrew Jackson, of the great Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow, of Polydor, of people like Cecil Cambridge and other great trade union leaders who fought for trade union solidarity, who's fought for unity. And for years, that unity has eluded all trade unionists. And there's a simple reason for that. When people are entrenched too long in positions, they forget why they were elected, and they believe, they come to feel that that job is theirs. What happens is that we forget that we are elected to serve people. This trade unions, as well as politics, is a people-oriented thing, and you're not there forever.
The minister explained that the events of the day were aptly described by Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu.
Prime Minister Nagamutu reminisced that 50 years ago, Boredom and Jagan embraced on the night of independence, and there was a hope that maybe with that, for this first step, they will now get to the point where there will be a spiritual embrace, where the unions will understand that in unity there's strength, where they'll understand that you can never get respect from not only from the government but from the population unless you're together.
It has been close to 2 decades since the Guyana Trade Union Congress and the Federation of Independent Trade Unions of Guyana United for One rally. Minister Scott urged that the trade unions move past just being united for the May Day rally and join in the process of collective bargaining as they represent the nation's workers. Shanta Gobadan with this Government News Brief.
Citizens and visitors are being assured that Guyana will be safe for the Golden Jubilee celebrations.
Safety of citizens and those expected to visit Guyana for the Golden Jubilee celebration is high on government's agenda, Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramjatan assures.
We intend to put out lots more people in the street. We intend to ask for traffic cops to also come on board to ensure that we have more or less a disciplined kind of trafficking in the streets of Georgetown, to the extent of having, like what happened here this morning, everything being pre-planned so that we can have a safe, very stable country in the next month coming on to the Jubilee celebrations.
Members from all the disciplined services will be involved, including the Guyana Fire Service, the Guyana Police Force, and the Guyana Defense Force, in an effort to ensure a safe Guyana, according to Minister Ramjatan. Additionally, the minister explained that help is being offered from international bodies such as the ABC countries, Interpol, and the Drug Enforcement Agency. Minister Ramjatan says that crime in general for 2016 has been lower when compared to previous years.
What we need is confidence from diaspora members to come in. Look, crimes have been reducing all along this year, as against 2013, 2014, 2015, the earlier part.
The rates
and the confidence level of the policemen have been increased because of a lot of things that we have done, the seminars they go on, and the other workshops that they have all around.
Other operations are already in place that will strengthen the capacity of security efforts. In addition, Operation Dragnet is still in effect, the Public Security Minister promises.
As we continue the countdown for the May 26, 2016 Jubilee Independence celebrations, with just 23 days left, we report now that major sponsors are on board for the Jubilee celebrations.
With just 23 days to the May 26 Independence celebrations, sponsorship from supporting organizations are quickly rolling in for the big event. Representatives from Bauxite Company of Guyana, Rusal, and Korea Group of Companies today handed over checks to Minister of Public Telecommunications, Scotty Hughes, in support of the celebrations.
We are happy to contribute into Jubilee Festival 2016. We know that the program of this event, of this Jubilee Festival, would be very colorful. It would represent different arts, different culture and social programs. It means for us it's a big event, it's a big and colorful demonstration of Guyana national patrimony.
On behalf of the Korea Group of Companies, we're happy to contribute our little small part to this occasion. I think that obviously it's a very special occasion, and we're looking forward to all of our cultural exhibits and activities for the period. So we're happy to support you with a $2 million in a donation.
Fly Jamaica was the first company to support the Jubilee celebrations by committing to fly in foreign-based artists performing for the Jubilee celebrations.
For Fly Jamaica, we are pleased to be a part of the Jubilee Festival celebrations. Fly Jamaica is bringing in all the legendary artists like Keith Waite and others for the events starting from the 19th to the 22nd of May. We are always proud to be part of national and sports events, and this is no exception. This actually is our Jubilee Festival, and we are very, very, very proud to be a part of this auspicious 50th celebrations.
Other sponsors on board include Banks DIH, Singers Guyana Incorporated, Digicel Guyana, and Guyana Telephone and Telegraph GTT. Renetta LaFleur, Government News Brief.
The Ministry of Social Protection is advising all senior citizens and recipients of public assistance that they can cash their May month coupons from tomorrow, May 4, 2016, at their respective post offices. The delay was due to yesterday, Monday 2, being a national holiday. The Ministry apologizes for any inconvenience caused. The Ministry of Public Infrastructure is advising the general public to take all necessary precautions during the spring tides period of May 3 to 11, 2016. The predicted tides indicate above normal levels for this period. The high tides are expected on Saturday, May 7, 2016 at 3:59 a.m. at a height of 3.3 meters, and Sunday, May 8, 2016 at 4:42 a.m. at a height of 3.27 meters. All persons residing along the banks of rivers and low-lying coastal areas are advised to take the necessary precautions against possible flooding. Precautions should also be taken by all mariners, including those operating fishing vessels and larger vessels. Use of beaches and foreshore areas for recreational purposes during this period is not advised. 5 Region 9 communities receive funding for implementation of their community development project. More in this report.
Kutunarib, Shiriri, Awarenau, Achuweb, and Sand Creek in the South Rubenuni Region 9 are the 5 villages which have received the first tranche of their CDP funding from the United Nations Development Program. Advisor on Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Mervyn Williams, says that the villagers are optimistic about their projects.
So Madam Khadija Mirza was there in Shulinab, and she presented to, I believe, 5 or 6 village leaders their first tranche of the CDPs. So the process is ongoing, and I remember seeing the excitement on the faces of the leaders and listening to their comments. They were very positive, very upbeat that this is going somewhere, and that the efforts that they have made and that the expectations of the villagers, those expectations are being met, and there's a level of comfort associated with that.
The Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, in collaboration with the UNDP, has been conducting training in the communities. The projects were also assessed and their business and economic feasibility examined. The villages will be given a 9-month implementation deadline. Following an assessment, the second tranche will be dispersed.
ADF staff have been very, very detailed in their scoping exercises, and they have satisfied themselves that based on the proposals that we received, based on the interaction with the villagers and the leaders, that sustainability appears to be less an issue now than it was before. The UNDP, for its part, is lending tremendous support in terms of capacity building and so on. And the ministry will continue to monitor and will continue to work with the National Two Shows Council as well as individual villages.
Kutunarib is constructing a village shop, while the other communities are undertaking cattle rearing projects. The CDP falls under the ambit of the Amrina Development Fund, for which Phase 2 is being implemented. This project will provide funding of up to $5 million for the implementation of sustainable projects in 160 communities in the hinterland. To date, in Phase 1 of the project, 26 villages received disbursement to implement their respective CDPs. For the Government News Brief, Sinika Thorne reporting.
We have come to the end of this edition of the Government News Brief. You can find the details of these and other stories on GINA's website. We encourage you to subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. You can also like and follow us on Facebook so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Do join us again tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. Thank you for watching.